Hey guys, I'm Hannah Bernard, and this is the weekly market wrap-up. It's a roller coaster ride on the markets this week as the government shutdown now enters its 11th day, and the deadline for raising the country's debt ceiling fast approaches next week. This week's market turbulence is all the more troubling when viewed in the context of the last 30 days.
It's next week's deadline on paying America's debts that is the biggest threat to the economy. That has turned Wall Street increasingly sour. The Dow hit an all-time high in mid-September, but since then it has fallen 900 points. It dropped nearly 160 today.
And that drop was Tuesday. By Thursday, hope that an agreement to end the shutdown and to extend the debt ceiling for 6 weeks caused stocks to surge as Republicans offered to the president a plan to postpone the U.S. default. Stocks soared Thursday, putting the market on track for its second-best day of the year, with the Dow closing up 323 points and the S&P 500 gaining 36. Both indices gained 2.18% in overall value. This is great news. However, the surge was a result of optimism over late Thursday's talks between the president and the House Republicans. By this morning, it's become clear the two sides are still at an impasse. I don't want to speak too soon. Let's just hope today doesn't turn into another nasty day in the markets. Also in political economic news this week, President Obama nominated Janet L. Yellen as chairman of the Federal Reserve, ending an unusually prolonged and public search to fill one of the most important economic policy-making jobs in the world. Yellen is currently vice chair of the Fed and will become the first woman chair when Ben Bernanke steps aside on January 1st, 2014. All right, let's talk currencies. Forex markets shifted course based on the breaking news from Washington. The US dollar appears to be making a recovery as the index shot back above the 80 level after lingering below its critical level earlier this week. This week, the dollar-yen pair climbed back above 98, although the nomination of Yellen as the next Federal Reserve head could play a significant part for the longer-term trajectory of the yen. The euro-dollar moved in the opposite direction, dropping down to the 135 level after flirting with one-year highs. The euro was overheated as what we are expecting could be a healthy correction. As always, it's time for our winners and losers and our picks for this week. The winner for this week is Vonage, ticker symbol VG. Share prices of the company closed up over 16% from the prior session after the company announced it has entered into an agreement to acquire privately held Vocalocity for $130 million. Vonage has done a good job of managing its liabilities, and despite the fact that their second quarter earnings came in under forecast, we also have to consider that the margins have improved over the last 3 quarters, suggesting that this latest run-up in share prices is a believable move. The loser for this week is Ruby Tuesday, ticker symbol RT. Shares dropped over 17% against the prior trade, tumbling to an annual low as earnings came in well below forecast. Forward guidance was lowered, citing the difficult economies as hurting the company's recovery efforts. Well, those are our winners and losers for this week. Now we want you to weigh in as always. You tell us in the comments section below what company is the top pick and the loser for this week. And last but certainly not least, let's talk precious metals. Gold took a sizable hit Thursday, giving up 1.58% of valuation in the spot market, as well as dropping below the psychological barrier of $1,300. One positive for precious metal investors is that it held up at the 1,280 support line as we are approaching oversold conditions. Palladium began to show some signs of life as the bullish speculation of the stock market gave it a small bounce, closing at $707. Palladium is now the only precious metal that is up for the week. Well, and that wraps it up. Thanks again so much for joining us for another weekly market wrap-up. I really hope you enjoy this weekend, but before you leave, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook and on Twitter. For VNN, I'm Hannah Bernard.